what's about to happen to you. You'd leave now.
Some consider these traits to be toxic, such as undesirable in the men of today. We consider these traits such as these not only to be desirable, but to be appreciated and celebrated. Welcome to the Toxic Male Appreciation Show, hosted by and La Reina Creole. Welcome to the safe space for the toxic male.
Well, hello, everyone, and happy New Year to all of you. This is the Toxic Male Appreciation Show, where we appreciate those quote unquote toxic traits that modern Hollywood tries to say is wrong when it really is not. And we just appreciate the heck out of you guys on this show. And of course, I can't do this alone. I have my co-host of Positive Fandom. How are you doing, my dear? And Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year to you too, Lorena. It is so wonderful to be here. I'm doing great. The weather has gotten very mild in New York. It's about 50 degrees. I'm feeling good. This year is going to be incredible, Lorena.
Oh, absolutely. I can just feel it. I can just something about it. I can just feel it's going to be a really, really great year for so many reasons. And speaking of great reasons, award season is coming up. I actually, in a way, loved and loathed that season when I lived in Los Angeles, but I hadn't really paid attention to the awards for quite several years because it seemed like things that I liked or wasn't really worth paying attention to. And then I hear about the campaign to nominate RRR actually for an Oscar. Now, to back up a little bit and to kind of level set for some viewers who probably haven't seen our show before, we do not call men toxic. Unfortunately, there has been this undercurrent in progressive Hollywood, I would say, for the past maybe like 5 to 10 years, that traditional masculinity has been demonized and minimized in cinema, and that wasn't always the case. So in this show, we like to bring to light positive examples of masculinity and certain film genres, especially overseas, that just do it right and do it the way that Hollywood used to do. And RRR is definitely one of those films. What would you say in regards to that?
For RRR being having an incredibly desirable and sexy and strong male image for men, representing men in a positive light, showing that you can be friends with your enemy. Men have emotions too. You can be very, very attractive and be a fantastic dancer and do incredible stunts. But you can also act and sing and be able to portray a story with these incredible men. And they have such fierce determination, Lorena, in the film. I think that these guys might be the most toxic males we've seen, and I absolutely love them.
Absolutely. And I honestly believe that because they are being portrayed that way, without without shame, without apology, just real, is the reason why this film has resonated so much here in the United States. And I'm just fascinated. I love that it's going on. Love that it's gotten the attention of the Golden Globes. So, to catch some of you folks up who don't know, Ram Charan is going to be there. S.S. Rajamouli is going to be there. Rama Rao Jr. is going to be there. They are going to attend the 2023 Golden Globes. I mean, this is, I wish I was back living living in LA, because this is very, very big news. It may not seem like that big of a deal, so to speak, in other countries, because you have this industry that's going on. These are like your superstars, so to speak. But to have a foreign film that has caused such a sensation here in the United States, it's something to pay attention to. And it's like, it's pretty much what fans are rooting for, to have this film be recognized so much, because you have, I think, the New York Film Critics, Philadelphia Film Critics has won so many other awards around this country. It just seems the next step is for it to claim a Golden Globes.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And after all, the Golden Globe is kind of it feels as if it's an international event, calling it a Golden Globe Award. It's not
Mm,
sort of like what is the most popular film solely in the United States. This film is a film, and honestly, Lorena, I wouldn't even be talking about this film if I was not working with you, not streaming with you. I wouldn't even be covering this. And I'm so glad that you did, that we did our watch party on your channel of this, which, was incredible, because it was one of the most incredible films that I'd seen in 2022. It really was. It transcends honestly, it is based in India, but it transcends everything, every culture, because it has so many relatable elements to it. But in regards to this award, I think they absolutely deserve it. The director is you and I have talked about the director a number of times, and he talks about how he was influenced by films from the West. He has been. However, this man, what he's done with this film is that he's taken the best, I think, maybe from every genre and used it
mhm.
in RRR. And Lorena, the first few minutes of the film, you're hooked. It's literally the first few minutes and I'm not going to spoil it, but there was something I thought that had happened and it wasn't the case. Like, any film that does that to you, where you're like, oh my God. I mean, I still feel that part. And I remember after I watched it with you, Lorena, of course, I forced my mother, God bless her, with me. And she was like, well, how long is this film? I'm like, I don't know, like 3 hours. And she's like, how long? I'm like, it's like 3 hours. And
Yes.
she's but she stuck in there. She's like, well, what happened? I said, we're going to find out. I just thought that it was so delicately made. Certainly, Lorena, you and I have been fascinated by this film for a reason, because it's spectacular. The direction had a lot to do with this. I think that it's perfect to be nominated. It should get these accolades. You mentioned the director being focused on for the New York Film Critics Circle Award for Best Director. Other accolades that he's gotten. He's also been, I think, part of Deadline's contenders group, where they brought in a bunch of films like RRR and other
Yes.
international films that maybe didn't get the acclaim they should have, but Deadline wanted to honor and kind of recognize it. That's where he said that he was inspired. Was it Braveheart, Lorena, that he said?
It was indeed Braveheart. Yes.
I mean, I think that if your benchmark is Braveheart, a film that also had so much passion, definitely a lot of toxic males in it, but
Yes.
it's inspired by such a story that's heartbreaking and celebratory at the same time. He has high hopes for his pictures. This director believes in excellence, and I also think that the performers too, Lorena. I'm still stunned by one of the dance. I knew it would have dancing and singing, Lorena, but there was this one part where the men started to dance there in tandem together. And I was so impressed with them. I'm like, oh my gosh, you see those dance moves? Everybody danced, but I just thought to myself, there's just so much more to explore here. And they've hit it on the nose. This is what people want to see in a good film. And 2022 was the year, and they deserve to get some acknowledgement for a film that's just influencing I think so many others, and just providing, entertainment that we're craving. This is what we want to see in a story. As I said to you before, Lorena, it wasn't perfect. And look, you and I both know that they couldn't hold hands under that bridge, Lorena, but it did not matter. It didn't matter.
We didn't care. We were so invested in these characters portrayed by two amazing actors. We just didn't care.
Mhm.
We're just like, we just want to see what happens. Yeah, that probably, yeah, okay, we can, suspend reality. We don't care. All we care about is the characters getting to the next thing and getting to the next level. That's all we cared about because we had a story that we're just hooked and invested in, like you were saying earlier, from the first few minutes. We were just absolutely hooked and just grabbed emotionally and just from there. I mean, it probably seems like we're going over the top about this, but we're really, 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 really not, because this is an excellent piece of filmmaking. And aside from the director, S.S. Rajamouli, of course, you have got the two actors in this film. Of course, you got Ram Charan and you've got Rama Rao Jr. And this is from Vogue India. I love Vogue magazine. I love this shot because this shot, it was used in the trailer and it was just such a great yet simplistic display of, of camaraderie, of brotherhood, that it just resonated with so many people. And you have this line here, well, of course, the title, RRR director S.S. Rajamouli is trying to take his movie to the Oscars, and it could be in contention with films like Batman, Black Panther 2, and Top Gun. Well, Black Panther 2 and Batman, I really don't think should be in there with RRR. Top Gun 2 is the only one I would say that is worthy to be there. Kind of they're basically, I don't want to say the same, maybe I shouldn't say simplistic, but with the way of how great a story is told. They're just told differently. They're told uniquely. That's the other thing. One is told from a unique American point of view. One is told from a uniquely Indian point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is something to think about because and of course a lot of the viewers who are watching here are obviously know that the director is going to be going from location to location talking about his film. RRR will precede him wherever he shows up. You are the director of RRR. You just know people are kind of like jumping out of their shoes when they hear the what is it the most expensive Indian film ever made, or
yes,
film ever made, and of course it performed tremendously. I don't even want to think about the Netflix rates were probably the viewership was probably incredibly high in the theater. It did well. People are still watching it. You mentioned something about them bringing it back to theaters, Lorena. This film is making the rounds, and in a good way, in a way that you want the kind of momentum for your film to have. If somebody talks about, yeah, we're thinking of re-releasing it, that's a win for any film. He certainly does deserve to be an Oscar contender. And I think that if he can play it right, if he can get the support, Lorena, you mentioned that this was, and correct me if I'm wrong, was it supported by an American studio at some point? It had gotten some kind of backing or support from an American studio. A lot of times that can kind of grease the wheels for him to even be mentioned. We already know he's going to be at the Oscars. He has to show up to the Oscars. I think that, it's very interesting because last year we had Coda, which won for Best Film. But before it won, there was another film that was kind of like an art film, and it didn't do well for a number of reasons. People wanted to see an inspiring story, and I think we're still in this mode. People want to see happy endings. They want to see stories that are amazing. Coda was an amazing film, and I am going to say that one of the persons in Coda, who is not deaf, and a Spanish actor, was a lot of the success in the film because he was this teacher that inspires this girl to go into what she wants to do. Kind of reminded me of Fame a little bit, Lorena. There was a little bit of Fame feeling. And I think that, he was like the Debbie Allen of let's say in the film. But in this particular case, people are kind of like, a little down in the dumps. And I think that this film is inspiring. And it gives you so much more. It's got action in it. It has romance. It has dancing in it. It has wild animals that made our jaws drop to the ground.
Oh my gosh. And before I forget, if you thought our reaction was something else when we first did the watch party, this Saturday at, I believe, 7 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be watching the English dub of RRR. And I think we're still going to have our jaws drop at at that scene because it was just so over the top, so not what we were expecting, that we're just like completely blew our expectations away, and we loved absolutely every minute of it. Sushil Reddy 87, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Says, I love the costumes used in the movie after reading some blog. Apparently Ram, Fire, uses orange, red, yellow shade clothes throughout the movie, and Beam uses water, blue, white, and black, dirty water. I never realized this while watching the movie. Haha. I didn't either.
Yeah, there are a lot of layers in this story, from costume choices that reveal certain things about the characters, to, let's say the struggle of one person dealing with what's happened to him and his family, and having to find the search for someone. There was so much that went into this film, even the sense of, who is in charge and who isn't in charge. There's a lot of this representation in the film. So costume is incredibly important. And, India has such incredible culture, such beautiful costumes, such beautiful artistry. Hell, they wrote the Kama Sutra. There's no doubt in my mind that, they just have this absolutely admirable culture that I enjoy watching. A lot of what we're seeing, it is really impressive. Even the costume design, I wonder who was in charge of the costume design for this film, because we have seen some incredible designs out there last year, but this certainly was something to be proud of. Even, picturing or picking specific colors to represent moods and tones in a film. It's really important. You don't want to see,
just answer my question.
Yes,
I thought I couldn't verify, but I thought I'd heard that it was a director's choice. So thank you for confirming that, because you're absolutely right. I think the costumes and just how grandiose it all was another thing that pulled you into watching it. Literally, the costuming was on Ruth Carter
yes,
level. For those of you who do not know, in the US, Ruth Carter is she's won several Oscars for her costume designs, most notably or lately in Black Panther 2. So it's literally, if you would have told me Ruth Carter did the costumes, I would have believed it for this movie. It's just at that particular level. So I think that's so awesome that his wife, Rajamouli's wife, did the costuming, because it is beautiful. Everything from the native costumes to the dress costumes to the Western dress
yes, yes.
costume, everything. And again, to go back to the Natu Natu song, everything. If you notice the color palettes and what people are wearing, it was just absolutely amazing. This film deserves to get nominated for an Oscar. We're actually going to get into the Oscar talks a little differently, because
Yes.
from a fan point of view, this was not the film that India submitted for the Oscar. So we're actually going to talk about that in a little bit after, of course, we start talking about the actors themselves. Now, I know we're both kind of new to Indian film. I think we've probably been watching maybe for the past maybe 3 or 4 months. We can blame Chris Gore, actually. Blame Chris Gore for for letting us know about RRR, and it just kind of spread, throughout our particular community. But here we have Ram Charan. Well, I hope I'm saying that right. And he is the one who plays, I believe he plays Raj in the movie. I believe, yes, he plays Raj in the movie. And apparently, of course, he works predominantly in Telugu cinema. Now, so for our American watchers, India has several different film industries. We're most familiar with what's known as Bollywood, and I kind of made that mistake in the beginning too. But no, there are several different, there are many languages in India, but there are several different film industries in India, so to speak. And since this is a Telugu language film, this is also known as Tollywood type of film. So apparently he is one of the highest paid Telugu film actors.
Yes, absolutely. Clearly, this man is incredibly talented actor. I think that the chemistry that he has with the cast is undeniable. Certainly he has won awards when he debuted as an actor, and he has starred in other films and been very successful. He's only in his 30s, Lorena. He hasn't even sort of like reached middle age yet, honestly. He was just incredible in this film. And, I think that they were very lucky to have him cast in this role. He's incredible. It's just, he looks fantastic. He looks fantastic. So
He does. I mean, let's be honest. Part of the reason why a lot of women like this movie is because the leading men are hot.
yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh goodness. Yeah, he is really amazing. I think his father, and correct me if I'm wrong, is also an actor or a star as well.
I believe you're right. Let me go back to his biography. I believe he's I kind of stopped at where I saw
Mhm.
he owns a polo team. I said, "How cool is that?"
Yeah, and he's also a co-investor in an airline. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so he's has a lot on his resume. He's I mean, the only other person I know who starting their own airlines, like who, Richard Branson, who's a billionaire, like who even does that?
Mhm.
Like, I'm going to start an airline tomorrow. Excuse me?
Yeah. It's like, I'm gonna go ahead and start one. It's just amazing to see, that he's not just an actor, that he has other things, going on. Yeah, it owns the Hyderabad Polo Riding Club. I know some people
Nice.
who live in Hyderabad, so I'll have to ask them about that. And yeah, son of megastar Chiranjeevi. I'm probably saying that wrong. I apologize. Nephew of Pawan Kalyan, Nagendra Babu, and producer Alu Aravind, grandson of legendary comedian Alu Ramalingaya, cousin of actor Alu Arun. So it seems like he comes from a, or as we'll say in Hollywood, showbiz type of family, but it's in Telugu film industry.
Absolutely. He has a long history of their family of being entertainers, and it certainly is a history to be proud of. So it is something to think about, and I'm sure they had great expectations from him. And
Mhm.
honestly, this film was, maybe I would say this film could be the pinnacle of anybody's career. That's how good RRR is. So
Absolutely. It's like, where do you go from that?
yeah, it's something to think about, and I think that it's I want to say it's as perfect as Die Hard to me. That's how I feel about it.
I would agree. I would agree just from how well the writing was, especially how the acting is, how you are so invested in the character because the actor brings it to life. So with Raj, you understand his frustration from the beginning when you first see him, considering what he takes upon himself to do. It's like you feel his like single-mindedness in what he's trying to do, which is why you feel that conflict when he meets Beam, and you know what's going on, and just seeing his reactions, you can't help but get sucked in, and that's a testament to who he is as an actor. And Sushil Reddy 87 says his father is biggest star, excuse me, and he used to be blamed for bringing nepotism. I've heard that a lot. I believe some people were telling us about nepotism in some of the filming industries in India. It's almost, I won't say exactly the same, but analogous to some families in Hollywood where you have so and so gets a role because they're the son of a famous actor or nephew of a famous actor. Case in point, like Nicolas Cage, he did not use his actual last name, which is Coppola, because he didn't want people giving him work just because he was the uncle of Francis Ford Coppola.
Right, exactly. And, that is something to think about. But, as far as I'm concerned, his performance and what he's been able to accomplish in his career, it's really impressive, Lorena. It's very hard to make an impact when you have others around who have already made incredible impacts. And he does it here. This is the film that everybody's talking about and hasn't stopped talking about. I bet you if we looked at searches for films, maybe RRR might be the #1 film from 2022.
I would have to agree. The only thing that would be bigger than RRR, simply because it's homegrown, would be Top Gun: Maverick, and that was a huge film. I think those were the only ones. It was Top Gun: Maverick that you saw in the theater, and then people saying, "Hey, have you seen this movie on Netflix yet?" No, what's it called? I think, well, I'll take that back. For film, it will be RRR. For streaming television, foreign wise, I would say Squid Game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And with that, you have Squid Game, which analogous to the US would probably be like, probably with like, say, Stranger Things or Cobra Kai.
Yeah, absolutely. And ironically, what does it say on?
Yeah,
Oh,
Top
yes,
Gun. Yeah, with Chef's Kiss. Absolutely. That
absolutely.
was that was just an amazing film. And I'm just so it was so worth the wait having to have that come out. But I think, yeah, RRR is like the pinnacle. Like, there's this new one. Let's see, let's check this out. I need to put my ad blocker up there. So apparently this one is coming out in 12, what is it? 12 April, I think.
Wow.
Or did it come out already? Looks like it came out already, but I didn't know about this one. I
No.
just knew about RRR, though. Not that good.
Oh.
Okay, well, we will forget that we looked at this one.
What about he made another film called I'm just looking at the poster honestly because it looked incredible. Where is this film? It starts with it's CHIRUTHA.
Hmm.
I don't remember. He might have made it earlier on.
Is there a year?
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, here
It's
it is. Okay.
it doesn't it
2007.
doesn't have the picture I wanted you to see. Um
It
this
looks like a romantic comedy.
it is. It is, maybe, the oh, thank you. I
This
was
baby
waiting for
movie.
you.
Okay, thank you, because we need this, like, we'll see things, and we love it when people who know are in the chat and can tell us. And you know what? I believe that. I really do, because if you look at the poster and you kind of look, at just how playful it is, it's so different compared
Well,
to the
there's a
ones for
poster that I
RRR.
wanted you to see, but that's not the one.
Oh.
It's on the wiki page, Lorena, and that was the one that kinda grabbed my attention, especially because
Oh.
it's got a little raunchy look to it, that I was not expecting to
I'm
see.
I'm sorry, I gotta pull this up. This looks like so 80s. I can't
Yeah.
I can't get over it. It's perfect though.
Mhm, mhm. He has a wonderful physique. He's very fit, looks really good. Yeah, yeah, I can see why people would be interested in having him as their leading man in a film.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so this particular film, there on the I don't know, maybe it's on how many pictures? They have 5 pictures.
I
It's
think, well, here it just has 4.
yeah. Well,
4
if you
pictures.
can maybe I'll just send you the photo. I'll send
Mhm.
it to you.
Yeah,
And
I'll
it's
pull that
just
up.
I was like, when I saw this photo, I was like, "Okay." Um, let me just
But he's done just, so many things. Well, obviously, he's
mhm,
working, in the Telugu film industry.
okay.
But I know for us, like Americans over here, it's like A lot of them are not in theaters unless you live in a major city.
Yes.
So for us, for the majority of Americans and the rest of the country, if it shows up on streaming, that is like the place where we really, really, really find them.
Oh, wow.
Let's see, for Ram Charan, you could also watch Dhruva, which is a thriller, Magadira, Reincarnation with Rajamouli. Oh, okay, so it's a Rajamouli movie. Orange, Pure Love, and Rango Satham acting. The rest are all just okay, or just not too great. Orange might not also not be suitable for Western audience because it was a musical hit. You know,
Oh.
it's kind of interesting when I'll hear people say, "Oh, well, I don't want to watch this particular movie because it has a musical number in it," and I'm kind of like, "Okay, that really doesn't bother me very much." I mean, you and I, it's like we're fans of music videos, so it's like if they drop it into a movie, we're really not thinking twice about that. But some people are like, I don't wanna see, musical numbers, but I
I
really don't mind them, especially
Yeah.
the ones that were in RRR, especially Natu Natu. That one was such a technical, the choreography pulled off with that was just mind-blowing, and it didn't, like, start right away. There was a buildup to that, which is why why it works so perfectly.
I emailed you the poster. It's not on the ones that very nice person recommended. I can't Sushil Reddy 87 recommended, but
Ooh,
this
okay,
poster is like fantastic.
hang on, let me see.
Make
Oh,
it bigger.
that's nice.
This is just small. I'm sorry, it's not like a
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm trying to see if maybe I can. There I go. There I go. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a nice picture. I like that.
yeah, I'm gonna buy a ticket to that movie.
Who wouldn't want who wouldn't want to kiss that? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So they
That
know that we're
is
looking
nice.
and this is the type of stuff we want to see. I don't think it's over the top. I think it's kind of like, you know, I'm not going to go any further with it, but I think it was appropriate for what's supposed to be, as you said, Lorraine, your romantic comedy.
Mhm.
There is going to be romance in that. And that hooked me. So I think it's interesting that certainly even the posters a lot of times are, making you want to watch these films even before you know anything about it.
Mhm. Absolutely. And that's how good production or promotion works. You're just brought in by what it looks like on
Mhm.
the poster to just like, yeah, I have to see that. Sushil Reddy 87 says, and we actually did hear this, but those lyrics might get lost in translation, just how most lyrics in are lost its soul
Yeah.
in the subtitles. Yes, we were aware of that. We had people kind of telling us that. As a matter of fact, even with the English dub, I was happy to see it, but at the same time, kind of like, some things are really going to get lost in translation. But on the other hand, it may make people who are hesitant to watch and then think, hey, I need to go back and watch it in the original language at the subtitles. But yeah, you're going to get that lost in translation kind of thing. It's just one of those things that happens with language. But with what you can see on the screen, you can definitely feel what's going on. I think that's why so many people worldwide are just fascinated. Out of all of the songs in RRR, that one, I've seen people make like viral TikTok videos and stuff off of it because people are
Wow.
just so fascinated. So we're gonna move on from Ram Charan here, who of course plays Raj in RRR, to the actor who plays Beam. Actually, I don't know why. Oh, because the trailer. I'm like, that's not him. That was the guy we were just talking about. But it was the trailer. But yes, NT Rama Rao Jr., who is the grandson of legendary Telugu actor and politician NT Rama Rao. And apparently, he is the most successful star from that family, not a Brody family, in the Telugu film industry. Now, Beam's character, the way he portrayed Beam, was such a wonderful contrast to Raj. What were your thoughts when you first saw this actor as Beam?
Well, it had to be something you would believe. And there had to be something about him that would make him become best friends. There had to be something that, you know, where, 90% of their lives may not have been focused on, what their motivation is. Some part of their life, they're going to need interaction. And, you and I were talking about seeing normal interactions between people that even when they maybe or be on two different sides or have two different views, they can still be the best of friends. And I think that's what's so remarkable about this, is that someone had to be able to pull this off as being believable. And so I think that, that's the greatest accomplishment of this, is that he was able to make it seem as if they really were like bosom buddies, like almost inseparable, Lorena, at some point.
Absolutely. I just remember, and I'm trying not to spoil this. I'm trying not to spoil this because this scene, you want to talk about a scene that broke somebody when, Raj doesn't seem like he's going to be long for this world. Let's put it that way. And Dean just tells, he's just like, your friendship means more to me than life, my brother. I'm like, oh, dang. And what's really going on when he says that. It's just the way that he says it with that much passion that basically, brother, it's like, I love you more than a brother. And our friendship means more than life. To actually see men deliver that and not be embarrassed about that whatsoever, extremely powerful. And I was so impressed with how uh, Rama Rao Jr. pulled this off. I mean, when you found out that Raj wasn't quite who he was, you felt that anger. You kind of felt that anger at the same time, But he was just absolutely amazing, amazing in this. Again, another family, uh, another family in the Telugu industry. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sushil, you probably correct me. I think one of the reasons why the Canada films, I think with the Canada films, actors are more selected in that industry, I believe, based on merit as opposed to nepotism in Telugu films, but nowhere near the level of nepotism that's in Bollywood films. I believe that's what I've heard. But again, another acting family. Remember this scene? I love this.
It's amazing looking. It's just so amazing. And of course, once again, here's another costume design specification that's meant to stand out against the background, against the color of the sky. Their head ties and their clothing is very specifically picked. The way it fits, everything is very well thought out, from the flags that are flying in the background. You can actually feel the energy in this picture. You can feel it. And you're supposed to feel this, the energy in the picture when you see this. This is an emotional moment, and you're supposed to feel it, and you do. I'm feeling it right now. Like, this is, it's just remarkable what they're able to accomplish. But yes, I just can't get over it. It's just remarkable.
It's just, it's amazing. It's like you see Raj, he's in more traditional like Western dress. Beam is in more Eastern dress, but they're together. So you love that contrast. I loved how that was taken throughout the film. And it was just great. Him portraying himself as, I'm this person from the country, to the point to even contrast even further, because I love this scene where, Beam obviously likes this lady, Jenny,
Oh,
right?
yes.
But he's so socially awkward. He doesn't know how to like approach her. And Raj just pretty much says, yeah, but he just drops nails in the streets. It's not, just wait. Just wait. And it's
Be
just like,
patient. Be patient.
be patient, be patient. It's just like you can tell it's like that's his wingman. But regardless of language, you could see that and figure it out. And it's like, yeah, that's a true friend right there. Helping
It is,
you
and
on.
he had his back, and people do stuff like this. This is not, I know it may be an extreme example for the sake of cinema and art, but yes, people do show up where people work for a reason. They find out you're going to the library on campus, they'll show up at the library
Mhm.
for that reason. This does actually occur. It's not so far-fetched, happens all the time. So I'm glad they showed that, although it was a little bit more extreme, but it was still fun to watch.
It was very fun to watch. Again, another thing that was so over the top, but we didn't care. We just did not care. We
That's
just
right.
wanted to see Beam get the girl by any means necessary. So she already says, but nepotism only works for their debut, right? After that, they have to prove their skills. So I guess I am dumb on that topic. No, not necessarily. You will get there's some actors that from acting families, they still get roles and they're not the best at all. But because of who their family is and how powerful their family is in Hollywood, they'll still wind up, getting hired. And it's tough, especially for those people who do not have that particular backing. They have the skill to do it, definitely. But for some of them, the nepotism still works for them.
It does, and you're right, Lorena. In addition to the roles, they might get producer. They might get a job as a producer
True,
or some other
true.
sort of role in the film, and then they have influence that way. Maybe they were more successful in a producing role as a associate producer or something like that. I'll never forget. I think it was James Baldwin who was auditioning for a role, and it just so happened that he saw the casting sheet. While he was doing the audition, he saw the
Mhm,
casting sheet, and it had
mhm.
said that they wanted a James Baldwin, his older brother. What's his older brother's name? The one who's kind of embroiled with that craziness.
Oh gosh, what the heck is his name?
He's been in the news.
Billy?
Is he? Is it? But well, what happened was it's his brother, right? So the
Yeah.
casting agent puts down his brother's name and said, "We're looking for that Baldwin, somebody who looks like that." And he's thinking, "Well, I've got this. I'm a Baldwin. It's my brother." He didn't get the part. But
That's
yes, it does happen, and sometimes even that influence of, well, they're looking for an actor who's like this. Gee, you've already narrowed down based upon a previous actor that you might be related to or something. Oh, okay, maybe they would pick. Let's say if it was truly what they were looking for, maybe they would have picked him. But it can have some influence in many levels, even in the casting stage. With casting agents and things like that. So
Mhm.
when they're doing their lookbooks and things like that. So
Absolutely. It's something else, I tell you.
you, you
Oh,
know,
sorry, go ahead.
Lorena, you were talking about what I think is kind of interesting about this is that so last year when I mentioned Coda to you, and it was that film, I think it was called, it's not Wag the Dog or something of the dog. And everyone thought this film was going to win Best Picture. And you know something, Lorena, it might have been the Best Picture that
Oh,
of
dog. Yeah.
it might have been. But what was interesting was that there was kind of this interference that happened. And the interference made people stay away from what it was trying to say. The film was very difficult to make because of
Mhm.
what it was trying to say, let's say from an artistic level. And then people were kind of like, well, I don't want to hear that message right now. I want a happy story. Let me vote for Coda instead, even though I was voting for the film, the Something Dog film. And so things can look like it's going in one direction and then suddenly change very drastically, literally within a few weeks of the award voting. Coda ends up winning. So RRR could possibly somehow, if they get nominated, and Lorena, am I correct in saying The Golden Globes have been announced, but the nominations for the Oscars have not been announced. Is that correct?
That is correct. Right now, RRR is on the short list, I believe, just for musical performance, I believe.
Mhm.
But there's campaigns that are going on in the background to persuade Academy members to vote for RRR for Best Picture. And we're actually going to get into that a
Yes.
little bit after I show this one because I'm excited because it seems like it appears like it's on Hulu.
Oh, wow.
Let's see, Aravinda Samhita. So, a young scion of a powerful family with a long history of violence, sounds like The Godfather, decides to put an end to the bloodshed, which leads him on a path of self discovery.
Wow. That
Well,
looks
that's a
interesting.
cool poster.
Yeah, that is awesome. It reminds me of the Limitless poster that Chris Hemsworth did for his series. But yeah, it looks amazing. That looks like he's about to. It's and it has that exciting, part to it. There's something going on. We caught him in the middle of the action.
Hmm.
We're gonna have to check out the film to find out where this came from.
Exactly. I love that. Love how that looks. And it looks like, let's see, did that come out last 2018? So this movie came out in 2018, and it
It's
looks
good.
like he's been doing quite a bit. I mean, they all are, but so much. To Father with Love. Okay, I'm intrigued. I'm
Mm,
intrigued. I gotta pull this poster up. Intelligent son of a former entrepreneur takes revenge on a powerful and rich businessman who is as smart as he is.
wow.
Mm,
Well,
I'm
it's like a thriller,
intrigued.
I guess, or it's wow. That's also very interesting. None of these titles are uninteresting. None of the descriptions are uninteresting.
No, not at all. And I just love the art on on the poster. It just looks
And
so good. It's so intriguing. You want to see it based on what it looks like. It looks like he's just done so much stuff, and I wonder how much of this. Well, we know this one is available on Hulu, but it seems like for Indian films, your best bet, honestly, is to look through either Netflix or lately Hulu. Because there was this Indian movie named Freddie that I thought I was never going to see. Popped up on Hulu.
yeah, we're very, very lucky with some of these streaming services because honestly, there really wasn't any other way for us to see these films relatively at the push of a button, so to speak.
Hmm.
I've seen more titles than I've ever seen in my entire life on Netflix and on Hulu. I think it's a great time to have a subscription to that streaming service. And I know Netflix has gone through its changes where pretty much everything was on there, and then it lost contracts with Disney and it lost contracts with this company and that company. But even they will tell you this is only going to be here for 30 days, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I should watch it. Maybe I should check it out. At least they tell you
Hmm.
how long things are going to be on there. And I'm like, that's kind of courteous. That's nice to know. Hulu does the same thing.
Hmm. Sushi already says you should watch this, a movie between two intelligent actors. Oh, was that the From Father with Love? Was it that one? Oh, sorry, To Father with Love. Was it that one? So I'm
Hmm.
intrigued by that one.
Hmm.
Very intrigued by that one. And let's see, in Temper, let's look at this one.
Oh boy.
Corrupt police officer finds his life changing when he takes on a case of gang rape.
Oh my gosh.
That looks like that's a rough one.
That sounds very intense.
Wow.
Criminal minded, 100% cunning.
Mm, I'm quite intrigued by that one. Yep. Oh, okay. The one from Father with Love. Okay,
Hey,
cool.
I guess we put it on the list.
Yes. There's so many of these.
Mhm.
that we have on the list to watch. So yes, so those are those two actors. I know for us over here in America, they're very new to us, but when you see the work that they've done in RRR, it's just like, oh my gosh, we need to know more about them. And it's like, we want to see more of what they're in. So hopefully, those of you who are watching, now that you know who they are, you can go out and check out some of the other stuff that they've been doing. So you're prepared to find out where they go next. But going back to RRR, remember how I was saying that I believe whatever the Indian Film Commission, I believe is what it is, RRR was not the movie that was submitted. And I was kind of like, what? It's kind of it was like the collective, you've got to be kidding that this movie was not submitted. No, instead, they went with this movie called The Last Film Show, which seems to be a very feel-good movie about a kid who falls in love with movies. So it seems like it would be a very slice of life type of film. But if you look at the popularity here and the popularity of RRR, it's almost kind of like, I don't understand it.
Is it like an Indian version of Cinema Paradiso, where
Yes.
that's what it seems to be the case, and I can understand that happening. Like, it seems to make sense to make that film, since there are so many Indian films and so much to enjoy. I can see him falling in love with cinema that
Mm-hmm.
way. So that is kind of interesting in a sense, of how this take culturally would be on that. So yeah, I can understand them submitting this. This is the film that they felt would appeal to more international viewers, maybe, or perhaps the one that has been getting a lot of chatter. But I think that RRR just transcended so much. People want to see, and now I'm not going to say that this last film show is not adult entertainment, but it looks like a child. So I'm guessing it's not
Mm-hmm.
rated R. Am I right, Lorena?
No, it is not from what I understand. Like,
And
it's
we've been seeing
not,
I'm so sorry.
oh,
We've
no.
been seeing so many films that have been kind of cleansed of R rating style things that happen. And people are craving seeing adult films with adult situations. We want to see stuff like that. And RRR is that film. It's not suitable for children, but it's, for the adults, who are paying money for subscriptions, who are buying things, who
Mhm.
are buying tickets. It's adults within a certain age category who's spending the cash. They may, if they had to choose, I'm gonna be honest with you, if they had to choose between RRR and the last film show, RRR is gonna be the one they want.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard well, I'll put you this way. There's always the, hey, this is a safe choice. It's kind of like, we'll put it this way, like for the Oscars for America, it was kind of sad how Driving Miss Daisy won for Best Picture, but Malcolm X was snubbed. With the latter being a movie that a lot more people were interested in. And I did read something that supposedly this film was snubbed because seemed to be, I didn't quite see that, but I'm not Indian, so I probably didn't see that. Somehow the idea of Indian nationalism painted Muslims in a bad light. Now, I did not pick up on that. That
Mhm.
wasn't something that stuck out to me at all. It seemed like everyone needed to pull together in order to get out from British occupation. I didn't see that there was this animosity between Muslim and Hindu. I didn't see that. But supposedly that was the reason, so they went with the safe choice, which I can
Mhm.
understand from a point of political expediency that you're going to put out this particular film that, okay, it's not really non-offensive. How can you not like the fact of a kid falling in love, with movies, which for a good percentage of, we'll put it this way, your regular Americans that plunk down money to go to the theater, kind of like yet another movie no one saw, but yet RRR that people hear about and are excited about, it doesn't get nominated. But again, it's kind of like the same thing that happens with movies that are popular here in the US, but they're snubbed when it comes to the Oscars.
Well, you make such a good point with this, and this article certainly does that as well. And this scene right there, that's one of my favorite scenes in the film, Lorena. It's
Oh,
a dancing
yeah.
scene. It's a dancing scene between the two of them, right? And
Yes.
my eyes popped out of my head when they started to do that dance number together, because I've never seen anything like that before. I mean, I've seen a lot of dance scenes, but these guys were extraordinary. They did it. I didn't even know what move they were doing, but the two of them dancing together in tandem that way really.
Oh, the suspender dance. That's
Yes, it was so incredible what they were doing, and I kept watching it, trying to figure out what move is that. It was just remarkable. I think that they are incredibly, they can sing, they can dance, they can act, but this was even, more impressive. Maybe the most impressive dance number I've ever seen is the two of them together. There, I said it. For me, this is the most incredible dancing I've ever seen in my entire life.
absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
the
If
other
you're
thing I
into
want
dance choreography, it's just like it's what they had to do to pull that off is
yes.
amazing.
Lorena, it was perfect, and it was joyful, and it looked very hard. It was not an easy moves that they were dancing.
No.
I was looking at this very carefully, saying, wow, that looks really hard. How are they doing that? Like, how on earth are these men doing this? They're incredibly talented dancers, as well. And they just, it was just an elating moment of, you could almost forget all the troubles for a little while, Lorena, and celebrate and dance. And I think sometimes when films have that moment where you can kind of like a detente in the film, that easement from the tension of what they're going through, you can still enjoy it. It really is remarkable to be able to convey all these different emotions in film. But something, Lorena, the other thing that I thought was kind of interesting about this is, that the idea that a particular country has to submit, they have to choose one film in a country that
Mhm.
has, what do they probably make 20, 30,000 films a year? Like, it's a
Yeah,
ridiculous amount. And it's not that it's ridiculous that they make that amount. It's ridiculous that they have to choose one out of
one.
so many. It just seems, now the other thing that it reminded me of that you brought up, Lorena, is the idea of, you have a film that's popular worldwide, maybe the most popular film worldwide, and it doesn't get an award. And this was happening with music for a while. And a lot of the, music producers were saying, you have to give them an award. It's the number one song in the country, or even in the world. You have to give an award for this. And not the Academy, the Grammy
Mhm.
Awards started to do that. They said, okay, fine, we'll have, record of the year, but we'll also go ahead and give, some other awards to somebody can get album of the year or single of the year, or whatever it is, best rock performance, best R&B performance. They added some more categories, but they now make sure that if a song is number one, it's going to get some kind of recognition, that it
Mhm.
won't be overlooked. And I'm hoping that seeing this, urging the Academy to vote for the film in other categories, we will see it kind of pop up and, surprise us. Why don't we have so as I've just told you, Lorraine, this is my favorite dance number I've ever seen. Why don't we have an Academy Award for best dance number? Why don't we have more categories in the Academy Awards? Which is something that I feel that they should consider, adding a few more categories so we can give credit where credit is due.
Absolutely. Just to add on to what you were saying, because I actually saw a tweet from Chris Gore. Apparently, there was a showing in an IMAX theater in LA for RRR. Rajamouli was going to be there. Ram Charan was going to be there. Ram Rao Jr. was going to be there. Tickets for that sold out in 90 seconds.
Oh my God. And it's exactly what you were saying, Lorena, when a film can sell out a theater like that at a time where we can't get people to buy, when tickets are astronomical in price anyway, but they know they're going to get a good show. They know they're going to meet the director. They're going to
He
meet
did
the
it.
stars in the film.
We saw that. Chris was like, anybody got tickets? Paulie's like, anybody got tickets? Everybody's asking, anybody got tickets? It was, my heart broke that he did not get tickets. And people were just like, I just want to go. I want to see the movie with the director and with the actors. And this is in America. And people are like, I want to get tickets. I want to get tickets and see this because it's such an amazing experience. So I'm so glad you have all this context. I should
Yes, thank you. So
appreciate it.
Shade 87.
That issue arose because Allure Rama Raju's original looks the same as Lord Rama. So people who didn't know this thought it was religional. Oh, religion. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Ah,
Oh. So they
all
mistook
right.
the character for someone else.
Right. In this movie, he dresses up as a Muslim. Yeah, while playing disguise, almost similar to the Passion of Christ in a song, but yet people nitpick that climax dress. Funny. I didn't. That's good to point out because I was just like, I was like, I don't see that at all. But now that you bring that up, okay, I can kind of see that point. By the way, did you watch the Egan movie? Funny that you should mention that. Our watch party slate is for Indian movies is like crazy. So in the lead up to the Oscars, which is I believe the first week in March, I
Mhm,
believe it is,
mhm.
on my channel, we will have watch parties for Bahubali 1, Bahubali 2, and Iga as well because we love Rajamouli's movies. So yeah, I have not seen Iga. I have seen Bahubali 1 and 2, but that one I have not seen. So keep an eye on my channel over on YouTube for when we have that.
Looking forward to
Let's
that.
see. Prismatic says, hello, Lorena, and hello, Prismatics. Good to see you, my dear. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, we have a blast. We have like our American YouTubers that like to watch Indian movies. Yeah, we totally we geek out at it and we love it when Indian viewers come over and they watch too because they're just like we just love the fact that you guys, and enjoy these movies. Some of our friends are sick and tired of talking about it. It's like, okay, well then see RRR and shut up finally, so we can stop talking about it. And then they'll see it and they're like, oh my god, that movie was so just absolutely amazing. And to kind of wrap this up, even John Krasinski, yes, John Krasinski, who plays Jack Ryan in the Jack Ryan series on Amazon, says he
Another
heard
Texas Neil
RR.
series.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, he's so toxic. I'm binge watching Jack Ryan right now. He says heard RRR is unbelievable as he speaks about Indian cinema. So many people have heard about this film, and I want to say ever since Rajamouli got represented by CAA, which is one of the top um, Hollywood agencies in Hollywood with respect to getting people acting work, directing work, all of that. That's an important contact. There's so many people in Hollywood who know who Rajmouli is. So the fact that the likes of John Krasinski is talking about it shows you how high of visibility this film is. So I wholeheartedly hope that RRR winds up being like this dark horse that just upsets the Oscars. The Golden Globes, I wholeheartedly expect for RRR to win both categories that it's
Yes.
been submitted for. I don't see RRR going home empty-handed. The Golden Globes are more, I would say, more fan oriented, more popularity oriented, as opposed to the Oscars that it seems to be more stuffy and kind of let's pick a pick that makes us feel good and that all our peers picked, and not the ones that, you know, your regular moviegoers want to see.
You're absolutely right about the Golden Globes. And Lorena, I know you remember this when Idris Elba was nominated for his role in Beasts of No Nation for the lead male actor in the role.
Mm-hmm.
It was a breakout film. I think it debuted on Netflix. I don't think it went to the movie
Yes.
theater, but
Didn't.
his role in that, and of course, you know, he's been acting for 20 years at that point, but his role in that, his performance was so spectacular. He went up on the podium, and this was maybe 6 or 7 years ago, made a comment about, well, if you want diversity, here it is. And it was before anybody had to push for diversity or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. He was a shoo-in. I felt like he should have won it for that. I think that somebody won for I think it was a movie about a guy who was in the woods. He deserved his he did well in that film as well, but I felt like Beasts of No Nation should have won it. I felt that it was quite perfectly timed, and his
Mm-hmm.
performance was just so spectacular along with the other actors. But I think it went to Leo DiCaprio for Revenant that year. But it's
Yeah.
okay. You know what, Lorena? I will never forget Idris accepting his Golden Globe for that film, which it did win. And I think you're right. I think you're spot on about RRR. I will be shocked if we don't hear RRR winning something at the Golden Globes. And, you know, I don't feel like we don't wage bets, but I have a feeling that it is going to win too, Lorena. And I'm going to be clapping, you know, and just so cheerful when it does.
I am too. That's why I'm so excited about award season this year, because I want to see just how many awards that RRR picks up, because honestly, this is such a wake-up call to Hollywood, a movie that's, you know, from overseas, not really in a whole lot of theaters except for major cities, and people are getting hooked on this through streaming. They're finding out about it through social media. They're just like, we just want to see this film get the recognition here that it should, because it's opened up Indian cinema to those of us who haven't heard of it before. And we're just so excited to find out about all this and get hooked on, you know, yet more yet more Indian movies. So oh, let's see. Sushi already says, I only watched season 1. Is season 2 any good?
Yes.
It,
Of
okay.
yes.
I haven't gotten to season 2 yet, so
Yes.
that's
And
good to know.
season 3 is out, and it's great too. Oh, so
I love season 1. I'm telling you, Jack Ryan, I'm mad I didn't get hooked earlier, but I'm glad I'm on that particular train now. So folks, that is going to wrap it up for this first episode of Toxic Male Appreciation for 2023. Please do hit that like button. We sure would appreciate that. Subscribe to of Positive Fandom, and please do subscribe to myself. Do you want to let people know what you have going on?
yeah, I have my normal Sunday morning show. It's been a while since I've done this, Lorena. My goodness gracious. Yes, you guys can catch me on my channel, Positive Fandom, on Sundays at 10:30 a.m. for my Sunday brunch show, where we do all the parlay in the fandom. And of course, Monday, you can find Lorena and I on Ladies of the PGS on the Burn Network at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our show there. I'm going to be bringing on Cameron Pasha to review the Ottoman Empire series coming up next week, as well as reviewing on Friday with a very good friend of mine, Darth Plato, on my channel, where we're going to be looking at Horatio Hornblower.
Really?
Yeah. So guys, please do check that out on my channel. And of course, always you can find me here with Lorraine doing watch parties and our Toxic Male Appreciation Show, among many other things.
Well, yes, please do subscribe to of Positive Fandom. As for myself, as we said earlier, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be having an RRR watch party. We are actually going to be watching the English dub. Now, You can watch it in tandem via Scener, but a bunch of us are going to be watching, talking about the film. We love remarking on the film as it goes on. So we have that watch party on Saturday. Sunday, of course, is the Welcome to Florida show coming back for the first show of 2023. So that will be going on as well. And I have a new podcast show that just launched called An Audience with the Queen. So some of them are pre-recorded, some of them are live, but we just talk about what's going on in the fandom, what I've seen in popular culture, what other people have seen in popular culture, and it just spans the gamut, everything from Indian movies to anime to South Korean K-dramas. We just talk about it all on that particular show. So, folks, we are so glad that you all are here. Thank you so very much. We are so excited to see what additional accolades that RRR is going to pick up during this award season. So make sure you are subscribed to both of our channels to stay tuned for the American reaction to this exciting time that's going on. So everyone take care, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.